Hello, good morning. Today we're gonna make another exercise. We're gonna make the first ring. Very simple ring, but a bit more difficult than the previous one we did. So first of all, we need a finger size, which is here, ring rail. We can select the region. I'm in England, so I choose Britain and select the letter. You can change that if you're in the US. You just check US, set region, and select, okay? I'm gonna stick to Britain, and I'm gonna select M, which is kind of average size, and by default we will see a curve on the through finger view. Okay, it's gonna be properly aligned, and now we will just we're gonna make like a solitaire. So we're gonna go to gems, gem loader. We've been doing round before, so let's make oval. Okay, let's make 6 by 4. That might be too tiny. Let's go for big. Let's make here 8 by 6. Okay, standard sizes. As you can see, we're on wireframe now, so I'm gonna go to shaded, and I'm gonna just move the stone up. I always check on the front view, move it a bit lower. If you don't have matrix 7.5, I think it's 7.5 or 7, you might not have this gumball, this option here. Okay, you can just select the object and go to move here, move, and just move on down, but just make sure that you press shift on the keyboard. Okay, that's gonna make your object, wherever you move, to move like that. Okay, like 90 degrees. In my case it also goes 45 degrees, but that's not the default. I've changed that. Okay, anyway, that's just for you to know. Right, what are we gonna do now? I'm gonna go to perspective, select the stone, F6, and I'm gonna make an under bezel. Okay, I know it looks a bit funny, so I'm gonna click on reset. Not like that. I'm gonna make it straight, and I'm gonna move it down. Gonna taper it a little bit. Okay, here I would say 0.5. That's alright. Okay, and here on 1 mil. Okay, that's great. Enter. Don't worry about the claws because I'm gonna add them later. Okay. Actually, you know what? Let's add some stones on the sides. It's not gonna be a solitaire, but kind of similar. So again, gem loader. We're gonna choose round stones now. So let's go for round. And let's make 1.5. That's too tiny. Something like that, around 3 mil, 3.3. Okay. Again, as usual, just use whatever stone size you feel more comfortable with. And now I'm gonna just move the stone up to position it. I usually move it up and then I rotate it. So I click here, rotate, center of rotation 0, enter, and first reference point, shift up, and I move to the side. Okay, that might be a bit too low maybe, so we can always move it up. Yeah, also check on the top view. Yeah, that should be fine. Okay, right, so now we select the second stone, F6, and under bezel. We're basically repeating the same process as we did before. Move it down. Again, here we could put like 1.8, 0.9, 0.9 should be fine. Make sure that here it's 0.5. Okay, Okay, I'm gonna move it a bit down, a bit low, something like that. Don't worry about this, we can always chop it off. So we can just have, we're using the finger rail, solid, extrude, we make it a solid, and now Boolean difference, first object, second object, and that's it. Okay, that looks alright. Now, what we could do is select the finger size again, the finger rail, F6, outside ring rail. Okay, this is like just, I'm gonna use it basically as a reference. Okay, so here 2 mil, so it's too much. I'm gonna 1.8 and 1.8. Also, very important thing, if you find it a bit difficult to use this, you can always put the measurement here. Okay, whoa, not 180 millimeters, 1.8. Okay, so now as you can see, it might look better if I just do that. Okay, so now I'm going to need to extend the bezel a little bit. Okay, let's try to rotate it a bit more. Okay, like that. Okay, so now again, chop it off, and I make the Boolean difference. Okay, right, I'm gonna use 3 stones. Of course, I'm gonna mirror that to the other side. Okay, but we can do that later, doesn't really matter. Okay, now for the close, well, no, hang on, the close, let's do it later. Right, now we're gonna use the finger rail again, and I'm gonna make an offset, normal offset curve, like 0.9, that way. And now I'm gonna hide the stones. Actually, I'm gonna delete this because I'm not gonna use it, and we'll make a mirror at the end. And now I'm just gonna draw a line, normal line, straight line, going from here to here. Just make sure you align it here. And then another line, I'm just hiding the stones because it works better for me. We can go to wireframe, so wireframe, and we just draw another line from there to there. Okay, and now these 2 lines that we draw here, okay, I'm going to show it to you on perspective so you know exactly where they are. You see? Right, this line, I'm going to make another offset, and in this case I'm going to make it bigger, so 1.2 maybe. Let's make it 1.3, 35. Okay, and this one the same, 1.2 maybe. Yeah, that's fine. I'm gonna hide the bezel so I can see better. Always make sure that you are working in a comfortable view, that you can see everything clearly. So just to avoid mistakes, yeah, very important. Okay, so now this line, I'm gonna scale it that way. I'm gonna hide this, and I'm gonna mirror this to the other side, and I'm going to trim them using this. Trim, select everything, enter, and select what you want to get rid of. Okay, join it. I usually use join just by writing join. If it's more comfortable for you, you could do it here. Okay, select the object and here join. Okay, right. Okay, so now I have a line. I want to split this using this line. But what's the only little problem? If I split these objects using these lines, I will have an open solid. So to avoid that, I will just close that line. Okay, whatever you want. You can draw an arc, shape, whatever, doesn't matter. You just join it again, and now, oh, hang on, very important. Mistake. I need to chop this off. Okay. Remember that this is the line that we make the offset. That's not the finger size. Finger size is still here. Okay. So we join this. Close curve, very important. And now we can show the bezels again. Make the solid offset. And now we make the Boolean difference. Oh, hang on. It was with this one, but with this one it doesn't. This is a problem here. Sorry, it's my fault. What we should have done, I'm going to hide this because we don't need it anymore. I'm going to put it in another layer. Okay, here I don't want to cut this. I want to cut straight. Okay, so I'm going to explode. I'm going to make this longer. What's that? Yeah, that's from the other one. And remove this. And basically I need to chop it off like that. Okay. So we select that, we join, and we make it solid, and we just make the Boolean difference. Okay. Okay, that's fine. Now let's show the stones. Yeah, this is a way of doing it. We can chop this off if you want. So to do that, I usually do it in a similar way, but it's very similar. I just duplicate the edge there, and I project it to construction plane. I have to project it, delete input, no? Well, oh yes, doesn't matter. I have to project it because if I duplicate this line, we will have a three-dimensional curve. What I want is a flat curve. So we can extrude it. That's why it has to be flat. Okay. And now I just make a Boolean difference from this to this. Okay. That's it. Right. Show the stone. We can copy that to the well, now let's make the claw first. I don't usually use the claws on matrix. They are alright, but I don't really like them. I think it's not so accurate. So what I do is I make my own. Well, I'm lying. Sometimes I use them, but not very commonly. Okay, I'm gonna make a square. Let's make 1.1 by 1.1, and just make like a normal square close. And I'm going to position that claw, sorry, that curve on the right place. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna get the line and I'm gonna extrude it now. Make it a solid. And now I will just position the claw. It's very similar to using the matrix one. But if I do it like that, it's more customized, it's more personal maybe. Okay, so that's how I would put it. And now of course that needs to join there. So F11, so I can edit the solid. And now from the top view, if you get into wireframe, you can just edit the claw. Not so much. Okay, so you can just move it really. Or you could even do it from here. we use these tools. I would put it more out. Oh. Okay, and I would scale it down, maybe not that much. Okay, something like that. Then we go again from looking down view. We just have to mirror that claw. Okay, and then with this, in this case probably I would use normal talon claw, sorry, normal round claws. So I could use F6, and here I could use the claws on the head builder. Okay, of course I don't want the jump rings now because I have them already. The whole thing, I mean the whole exercise, what I did was make these bars more straight. I don't really like the round ones. I know that on Matrix you can change it and you can make the rail square like that, but still it's not my thing really. So what I would do is, instead of 2 that comes by default, you keep on clicking, goes to 0, and by default 0.7, that's quite tiny. Gonna make it 0.9 at least, a bit in and further down. Okay, that's quite good. Okay, and now again to chop everything off. I'm gonna chop off these claws as well. I should have done it on the first one, but to be honest I forgot. So let's do like that. And now I need to chop off this, and this, which is grouped. Actually, hang on. Yeah, it's going through. Just make sure that the claw is actually inside the solid, otherwise you will not cut it. Okay, so again, Boolean difference. I'm selecting first the objects that I want to cut, enter, and that's the cutter. Okay, that looks quite good. Now I'm going to select this. Make sure you select everything, including the stone, and mirror to the other side. Okay, then I'm going to hide all the stones, and I'm going to put this in one layer. Okay, just to make everything easy. You can show it again. And now let's make a shank. I'm going to make a tapered shank, slightly tapered. So I'm just going to draw a line on the through finger view. That way, that's what I want the shank to finish. And another way, sorry, and the mirror copy. I'm going to hide what I did before, and I will just trim to cut the object like that. Okay. So basically, what I'm going to have, it's one close line. Okay, one close curve. That's what I want. Right. You can show them what you did before you want. And now basically, I'm going to extrude it quite big. And of course, it's not going to look like that, but we'll just use this as a reference. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is make another line, tapering the shank. We can always adjust it later, so don't really worry about how it's going to look. If you want to have a more accurate view of how are we going to chop this off, using this line, you can extrude it. Extrude it not up and down. You need to change that by going to direction and setting direction. So this will roughly tell you how we're going to cut it. Okay, right, this is a surface and that's a solid. Again, if I chop it off, I will have an open surface, an open solid, which I don't really want that. I could do, but there are other ways of doing it. So to avoid little problems, we will just get that surface and offset surface. Sorry, offset surface, if you don't find it, it's here. Surface, offset surface, okay? So offset surface, we change the direction. That way, doesn't really matter which thickness. And we will get the solid and make a, we'll get the solid and make a mirror copy of it. Remember, every time I use symmetry, I press Shift on the keyboard, so I make sure that it's proper symmetry. And now I just have to make a Boolean difference. Okay. So I have a taper shank. Okay. Right. So really that's it. The other thing we could do, we could smooth the edges a little bit. So let's make a tapered, like a variable fillet. Sorry, I'm gonna do that again. Go to solid, here, fillet edge, and I select the edge. Enter. Now, that's the tricky part. But if I accept now, you see by default it's 1, so it's gonna make everything 1. Okay, which is pretty horrible. Going back, Ctrl Z, what I'm going to do is select the edge, enter, and I want by default, instead of 1, to be 0.25, and I just have to click on the dot, 0.25, and now here I want to be bigger, so I'm gonna add handle, and I'm gonna look for the quadrant. Okay, and let's see what you see now. 0.25, 0.25, 1 mil. Enter twice, and it already looks a bit better. Okay. Yeah, that should be it. Okay. Then I'm going to repeat the same process, but I'm going to do it here. And here I will just make it more regular. Let's make, here I'm going to set 0. Here I'm going to set 0. And I'm going to add another handle there. You see now, if I set 1 mil, I'm going to have a problem here, because that fillet, it's bigger than this length. So that's going to create a problem. I'm going to need to reduce that. So I'm going to click here, and I'm going to make it something like that, 0.5 ish. Enter. That's it. That looks good. I know that I only made half of it. We don't really have to repeat the same process again. What we could do is just go to the top view. I'm going to hide the top part, so you know what I'm doing. And now I'm going to use this command, which is very useful, cutters. And I'm going to say that this part, so this, everything that is in this quadrant, I want it to repeat 4 times. So actually it could be this one or this one. In this case, it doesn't make a difference at all. Okay, apply. And now I have everything on the other sides. The only thing you have to make sure is that you join it later. Okay. Okay, so that's it. Finished. Next time we will see how to make a proper render of this and how to save the file and do the final amendments for this. But that should be fine. That should be enough to show a customer. So that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you.